Hey guys, I want to show you something. I want to show you this. That's the Copenhagen Metro, back in 2002. Now look at this. That's the Copenhagen Metro in this year, yeah. Now the Copenhagen Metro consists of 4 lines. M1, M2, M3, M4, and an upcoming M5. So, why am I showing this in the first place? Well, I want to talk about how it's built fast. Well, not entirely fast because M3 only came in 2019. But I want to tell you how they've already expanded despite the launch of some of these lines being quite long. Now, I watched a video earlier about the Copenhagen Metro. I watched how it's free, no one has to pay for the fares or anything, the trains are driverless. But I'm not here to talk about how it's free or how the train is driverless. Like I said earlier, I want to talk about how it was built and like the time periods. So back in 19th of October of 2002, the Copenhagen Metro M1 and M2 was opened. Now these two lines served a small portion of Copenhagen. Now when did we get our first LRT line? That was back in the 80s. We didn't get another metro line until 1999, and I'm talking about MRT3. That's the second metro line that we have. Now to give you a little bit of context, why is it called LRT if it acts like a metro? Well, during its early days, it was supposed to be like the revival of the tramvias in Manila. They used they used tram for the line, but over time it expanded and the demand just grew, so they had to use metro trains or heavy rail trains. And now it's a metro line. And it wouldn't be another 5 years after the MRT3 that we get another metro line, which is the LRT2. Now the numberings are, really confusing because we're getting the MRT7. It's gonna be like 25 years since we last got our newest metro line, which is the LRT2. And this is just, I just thought about something. Like, 4 metro lines in Denmark, well, in Copenhagen, within 18 years. And I think that's better than getting like a metro line for each year, because again, after LRT1 we got another one after 15 years. Meanwhile, Denmark, on the very first time they got the metro lines, they already got 2. 17 years later they got 3, and then 18 years later they got 4. So the M1 M2 was opened back in 2002, and the M3 was opened back in 2019, November of 2019, and the M4 was opened back in 2020, March of 2020 to be exact. That's like the height of the pandemic. But it's interesting how within 18 years they already got 4 metro lines. Meanwhile, we are struggling to do so. We're struggling to even get a new metro line. Again, we got our second metro line after 15 years of getting the first one. And it wouldn't be after 41 years after the LRT1 gets extended. And this is just half of it. This is just half of the Cavite extension of the LRT1, because they plan to extend the LRT1 to Cavite, which kind of makes it a commuter rail, though not really, it's a metro rail. But it took them 41 years to complete the extension, and it's not even finished. You know where the extension terminates? It terminates near the mall that I go to in Parañaque, SM City Super. It terminates there, but it's supposed to terminate at, I don't know, Nyog station, which is in Cavite. So yeah, all I'm saying here is that if there's a will, there is a way, and it will be done. If the government has the will, if the government has the interest to make a metro line for all of us, for the citizens, it would happen. I mean, they do have the will, but the way isn't just there. The way is somewhere else. It would take them so long to find the way. Just think about it. 18 years Denmark has 4 metro lines. Now, I know Denmark only has 4 other cities like Helsinki, Stockholm, Oslo has more than that. But either way, it's developing. That's what's important. It's developing and it's doing something. And as our metro line also develops, it also has to do something. It has to be efficient. It has to be accommodating. From what I've observed, our metro lines aren't that accommodating based on the metro stations that I've seen. Mostly from LRT1, huh? The Some of the stations are not so accommodating because the platform is quite small and there's only like one bathroom per station. The ticket prices could be misleading too, you know. But I don't wanna talk about that. But oh, you really wanna know, don't you? Okay. So here's the thing. LRT1 has this thing called a family pass. Now, what the family pass is that you would buy one single journey ticket and then you'd get 3 for free. And then you'd pay like the amount of what station you're going to. For example, I want to go to EDSA station, which would cost me normally 30 pesos per single journey ticket. But since I'm buying a family pass, it would only cost me 30 pesos for 3 tickets. I explicitly told the cashier 3 tickets EDSA. So it would only, well, not only, but it should only cost me 30 pesos. You know what I paid? 55 pesos. That is from Dr. Santos station to FPJ station. And my dad was hella pissed. I was like, oh my gosh, here we go again. And I was like sweating so hard. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And then, he is right. It is misleading. And they should do something about it. Because I was like, that's weird. I thought it would be much cheaper. But for some reason, I paid 55. See, it's misleading. Now, I don't know how it works in Denmark, but hopefully it's better there. But again, putting that aside, the completion of metro lines in Copenhagen, I believe that it's much better than how it is in here. We've had the MRT7 plan for years. We've had that for years. I believe we've had the plan even before I existed. They only started construction back in 2019. Again, my point here is that both of these metro lines are developing. Both of these metro systems, are developing. Copenhagen Metro. Honestly, Metro Manila doesn't even have a unified metro system. It's quite split into 3. There's LRT1, LRT2, MRT3, and each of them use different train sets or rolling stocks. And each of them have different line colors. Now the line colors, that's reasonable, but having different rolling stocks, I don't think that's reasonable. I think that's kind of like a waste, because also, if you don't know, MRT7 has another rolling stock. So, yeah. And they're also planning the Metro Manila subway, which they have planned, I believe, like somewhere in the 2020s. Actually, I'm just reading through Google right now. The Metro Manila subway was first conceptualized in 1973. 1973. We all want our train lines. We all want an efficient public transport. But we can't have it if there's no will, there is no way, and there's nothing that's going to happen if there's no will and there's no way. I also want to give another fun fact. Did you know that in Singapore, some of the MRT lines has unopened stations? Not because they're unused or no one really wants to use them, but it's because they're waiting for a residential development to be built around it. They're waiting for a residential development to be built around that metro station. By then, they will open it. And I don't know if it's just me, but I think it's cool how their train lines, the MRT in Singapore, revolves around neighborhoods. Singapore is a city state. Singapore is small. It's like Copenhagen. But like they have one of the most extensive metro systems next to Kuala Lumpur, here in Southeast Asia at least. Kuala Lumpur has another extensive metro system. So does Indonesia. Now, another thing that I like about these metro systems from Copenhagen to Jakarta is that they have a train. One of their metro systems has a train link going to the airport. We don't have that. And our airport is split into 3 terminals. And that sucks. The closest that you'll get to the airport from the train is Ninoy Aquino station, which, by the way, is not even close to one of the terminals. It's only close to the tarmac, which, by the way, is a great spot to plane spot. It's a great place to plane spot. One of our train lines should be linked to the airport. They're doing that for the Metro Manila subway. But either way, let's just, stop complaining. At least now they're doing something. They're having the Metro Manila subway linked with the airport, and that's a good thing. That's a step up. Every improvement is a good thing. Never complain why they only started now. What's good is that they are catching up. So if you think like, you could have done this, you could have done that. Just remember, we live in a country with corruption. We live in a country where greed reigns. We live in a country where if there's no will, there's no way. We live in a country that would delay projects. And that would sometimes not give us what we are promised. So, yeah. Anyways, that's it for now. Thank you so much for watching this video. This is the first time I've made a video like this. This is just something, Anyways, I'll see you in the next one. And to any Danish people watching this, tusen takk og farvel.